So, how's it
Hey,
going?
what's up, Night Errant fans? I'm Will Whitmore alongside with my scroll, Nathanael Piper, and we're going to go through the bracket and analyze from the Sweet 16 who will win the NCAA tournament. So, starting in the East region, we have two pretty powerhouse teams. Villanova has been consistently great throughout the year with Josh Hart, and I think he'll continue to carry them.
So we got Nova.
Yeah.
Moving on. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, and then you have number 6 seed SMU, the Pony Express, like some would say, against a hot Duke team that just won the ACC tournament with Jason Tatum and Grayson Allen. I think that's just too much firepower for the little AAC ponies, and I think Duke will advance.
Go Duke there.
And then next, a very interesting Sweet 16 matchup in my mind.
The Zags. Gonzaga.
One-loss Gonzaga has been consistent throughout the year against a very feisty West Virginia team. And I think the pressure that West Virginia plays, I just think the Mountaineers are going to advance to the Elite Eight. Nate, sing it with me. Country road.
We got West Virginia moving on here.
Take me home to the place I belong. And then our next matchup, Maryland, Fear the Turtle, against number 2 seeded Arizona.
That's a good team.
Sean Miller and his feisty squad always come out to play, and I think that after winning the Pac-12, they'll continue to play well, and I think they'll grind out a tough game against a tough Mark Church and squad.
Arizona's
On to the Midwest region, we kind of have a big upset, you would say.
LSU over number 1 seed Kansas.
I've picked Kansas many times, and they've always seemed to disappoint me. So I just kind of have to put them out for now. So, but we want to focus on this game, Michigan State against Purdue. Two very good Big Ten teams, two very tough Big Ten teams. Purdue, obviously, with National Player of the Year candidate Kayla Swanigan, the walking double-double, some might say. And Michigan State has a very young freshman squad, and I just don't think that Nick Ward will be able to contain Swanigan in the post. So
I don't think Izzo's going to pull this one.
Yeah, and I love Tom Izzo, but I think the Boilermakers are going to advance to the Elite Eight. And then finally, we have Dylan Brooks-led Oregon against Rick Pitino's Louisville squad. And I'm just going to be honest, Donovan Mitchell is a freak. I love watching him play, and I think Louisville will advance.
Louisville's going on 2 seed Louisville.
And then in the South region, number 1 seeded North Carolina against my beloved
Gophers.
Minnesota Golden Gophers. This game's very tough for me because I'm an avid Gopher fan. I love Amir Coffey. I love Nate Mason. I love where the program's headed. But I just think the length of Justin Jackson and the feisty play of Joel Berry will sadly have the Tar Heels advanced over our beloved Gophers.
I think the absence of Akeem Springs in these first 2 rounds, I think the Gophers are going to scrape through, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah. It really saddens me to say that, but I think the Tar Heels will advance. Finally, in our final Sweet 16 matchup, we have the Shockers pulling off a shocker against Kentucky.
2-seeded Kentucky.
Playing UCLA and Lonzo Ball. And aside from what LeVar Ball has said, Lonzo Ball is the best freshman in the country.
He's unbelievable. So athletic, so fast.
Alongside TJ Leaf and Bryce Alford, Isaac Welsh, one of the best mid-range jump shooters in college basketball. I think they just have too much offensive firepower for Wichita State. Oh, in the Elite Eight, what a game this will be, Nate. Villanova, who has been consistently strong throughout the year against surging Duke. I really like this Duke team with Luke Kennard as well, who we forgot to talk about.
Yes.
And I think Chris Jenkins doesn't have the same magic that he did last year. So I think Duke will advance to the Final Four. I mean, you always have to trust Coach K as well.
Last game down here, West Virginia and Arizona.
West Virginia and Arizona. I love Press Virginia, man. And Nate, you want to sing it with me? Country roads.
You're taking them again, huh?
Take me home to the Final Four. West Virginia to the Final Four.
West Virginia going to the Final Four. The Mountaineers. And then up to the Midwest region, we've got number 4 seed Purdue and number 2 Rick Pitino-led Louisville.
And I for anyone, I'm a huge Big Ten fan. I love to boiler up. I love Caleb Swanigan. I love Dakota Mathias. I love that Purdue team, but Louisville's just so strong. They've played such a tough ACC schedule, and I think that tough ACC schedule, playing in the toughest conference in the country, will prepare them for
And I think
playing a tough
Pitino knows his stuff. He knows he knows the NCAA tournament, having won one a couple of years ago. I think he knows it. Game to move to the Elite Eight. We've got number 1 UNC, number 3 UCLA.
And all I gotta say is offense. I mean, if you want to grind out a game on defense, do not tune into CBS for this one. Both teams score over 80 points.
Yep.
It's gonna be up and down throughout, but I think
a lot of shooting, a lot of threes in this game.
UCLA just by a hair.
I think
just
so
by
too.
a hair.
Yep,
Lonzo Ball will carry his team.
I think it'll be a similar game as we saw earlier this year with Kentucky and UCLA having UCLA coming on top. I think by 5 in that game. Almost scored 100 points.
Yes.
So I think UCLA moves on as well.
Yes.
And that brings us to the Final Four.
All right, Final Four. Are you ready?
Four, baby.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. We've got 2 2s and then we've got a 4 and 3
the
on the
magical
bottom.
run for West Virginia.
Yes.
They're just such a great team. They love to press, but the way Frank Jackson is playing at the point guard position will really calm the Dukies down. And I think Grayson Allen, he just loves to play in the big games, man. I think they advance to the final.
Duke goes to the
West
final.
Virginia's
Another
magical
final.
run will come to an end in the Final Four.
And then on this side, right side of the bracket, we've got 3-seeded UCLA taking on 2-seeded Louisville.
I love Louisville's length, I really do, but you can't have more length than a 6'7" point guard in
Exactly.
ball.
Exactly.
And I just think he will control the game, he will push the ball, and Louisville really hasn't seen a team that plays as fast as UCLA. And I think UCLA advances to the national championship.
In Lonzo Ball's first season, he leads UCLA to the national championship game.
Oof. In the hot sun of Phoenix,
Hot sun,
we have
Phoenix,
the national
Arizona,
championship
the desert.
game. The Dukies, the strong fan base of the Dukies. 2 storied programs, Duke versus UCLA. It will be quite the treat for us in Phoenix, but I think it will just be another great game of pace. I think
Fast
UCLA
game, I think.
will continue to push the ball, and do I even speak of him again? Lonzo
Ball
will carry his team to the national championship.
I think so as well.
And make his psychotic dad LeVar very happy.
Yep.
UCLA
That $1 billion shoe
is
deal.
the national champion.
I think
Thanks
so,
for
too.
tuning in, everyone, and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thanks, guys.
My mama looking so gorgeous, she asked me can I afford it. I told her you got me, my pay your mortgage.